Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Woman's Cave. Yeah, this is the Woman's Cave. I
Yeah.
was gonna go with the Ladies Tale
Actually,
podcast.
slash Ladies Tale, because I feel like we don't know which one this interview is gonna land on.
Probably Meet Hollywood Monday.
Oh, I mean,
No, wait, we've gone
no.
through 3 of our podcasts already.
Well, because
It's not ending up on the writing class. So if you're listening to this and you're like, maybe they put it on the writer's class. No, we didn't.
we did.
I don't,
I
they
ju-
don't care.
we did like a few things. As you know, we created, right? You left us in the house for 7 months, almost 8 months, right? So you know what creators do? They create. So we created a bunch of different podcasts, and now pretty much like our lives and our books and everything, we don't know exactly what genre to put them in anymore because we created all the new ones. And now it's like, well, then hyphen this one or this one or this one. So you can go to any show and you'll know which one it lands on because that's the one that,
Yeah, there you go. If you're listening to it now, you know. Secrets out. Okay.
Oh, and I'm Jade.
Well done.
High five.
Social distance. I'm Nona. I can't believe I forgot to tell the person that we might forget to introduce ourselves. I bet you Linda thinks we're unprofessional now.
Oh yeah, well, she had to do the introduction, and I still forgot to get my coffee, y'all. So if I'm sitting over here like, it's because I'm coffeeless.
But anyway, coffee or not, we wrote books.
Oh, right.
Called Literary Life Guide.
With pop poetry, because doesn't that just sound better than I wrote a book?
Yeah.
With poetry, like a book of no literary life guides with pop poetry. That is how we make up genres. See, so it's for everything in our life. It goes across all of it. And I thought divorce was bad with other life lessons. And I thought being grown up was easy. If only I were me. Oh, which might be an audiobook very soon. Thank you, Joe.
Yes, thank you.
And I thought I did my journey alone.
Those are the top 4 of like 20 some books.
Yeah, and then we have like a book that just came out November 3rd, which is The Women's Cave, and other pop poems. And it's a misfit guide. It's very interesting and I love it. And we're gonna have a new
one of the series of the Misfit Guides.
Sure, that's what we always say, y'all. We're ending a series. We're ending the series, and you know what happens?
We write book 4.
It's
upsetting.
So y'all know how it goes from this point onward.
We're also the founders of the 25 Hottest Authors, Artists, and Advocates magazine.
Okay, you can find out everything. And I do mean everything, even like the little boring parts that you probably didn't want to know about your ladies. You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andwethought.com.
I don't like that explanation. But anyway, you're not here to hear about us. You're here to hear from our wonderful guests.
You can't tease me when I ain't have coffee. Wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello. Well, thank you, first of all, for inviting me to have the conversation with you today. I really appreciate that. I'm Linda Chapman. I am the Associate Artistic Director at New York Theater Workshop. I have been working in position, though it has certainly evolved, for almost 26 years. And I am, as we say at the workshop, I am in the process of changing my relationship with NYTW after all these years. And I am going to be leaving full-time employment at the end of this calendar year. And I'm looking forward to revisiting my own artistic impulses and maybe work on my archives. And I will continue to be a big fan and a usual suspect, which is a member of the artist community of New York Theater Workshop. So anyway, kind of celebrating. I look at it as a positive. As I say, it's a transformation for me and a real great opportunity for the workshop to bring in some new artistic inspiration on the staff as well.
Nice. Okay, so I'm happy. I mean, I'm sad that you're going to leave something that you've been doing for 26 years. It has to be like bittersweet. I mean, it has to be.
I've been planning this for a while, you know. I'm maybe a little older than I look, so it's been, we were talking a little bit before the program began, and we were saying, you do a lot of work at New York Theater Workshop, and we have been doing a lot of work for many, many, many years, and I've been part of a big, big push. So it's okay, it's okay to step back, and I think the pandemic and the shutdown has given me a little distance also, though we've been continuing to work from home. We pivoted and went to making online and digital work, but still, so it's given me a little bit of a breather, though I've been involved, of course, in all the daily work. And I don't look at it as sad. I hope nobody does. I'm not cutting off any relationships. Jim Nicola, our artistic director, and I are old friends. We socialize together. We've had an ongoing conversation about art, history, the society we're responsible for, for many years, and that will continue. So I don't think anything's really lost. I don't feel like I'm losing anything, or I'm going to be there. I'll be a resource. Got a number of young companies who I am really moved by, who I'm going to be offering my informal assistance to. So, I think it's just a shift. And for me, I can come. I don't have to be everything for everybody anymore. I can
That's gonna be a good
or attempt to be everything. I'm certain I don't succeed at that all the time.
So exactly what
I've really been available to this community for a long time.
So exactly what does an associate?
Pardon me?
What does an associate arts director do?
Well, yeah, I think every theater, of course, we may use some of the same titles, but every theater has its own personality and its own characteristics, depending on what their core values are, their mission statement, and who the people who run the theater are. In our case, New York Theater Workshop is both a theater. We produce on an off-Broadway contract in our 199 seat house on East 4th Street, downtown Manhattan. But we also have an extensive workshop mandate, I think is the way to say it. So and it's a little bit underground. It's not the part of the work that we do that the audiences see, because it's really for the artist. The productions are for the general public, and the workshop activity is for the artists. So we're really based in supporting individual artists and their work, not so much product oriented. I think many theaters are much more about what is that product that they're going to be putting out. For us, it's about relationships with artists. So as the associate artistic director, I have overseen and helped coordinate all of the artist workshop activities for all these years. I'll give you a little menu of some of the things that we do. And this is an evolving way of working. It's very much based on what do artists need in this particular moment. But we do, just on the very basic level, we have something called the Monday at 3 reading series, for instance, when we're actively working in person in the theater. And those are one-off, day-long, you rehearse for 4 or 5 hours, and then you read a script, and it's kind of a real simple, no big production values, really, again, for the artist. We use something called the Liz Lehrman critical response process, which puts the artist in control of the talkback. So we've been using this for many years. So the Monday at 3 is a really nice way to encounter a new artist, or to work on a script that we've been interested in with an artist over a period of time. Those very simple, one day only. Our casting director helps put a professional cast together. And we do 30 or 40 of those a season, typically, when we're when we're not in a pandemic. Also, for even longer than I've been the associate artistic director, we've had summer residencies at Dartmouth College, Vassar College, currently at Adelphi College out in Long Island. And in those situations, we work with the college. Usually there's student involvement of some kind. Dartmouth has a summer quarter, so they've got a class that is assigned to us for the 3 weeks we're at Dartmouth. And each week we bring work in progress projects. We'll bring the initiating artists and a cast, solo artists. We do public presentations there, and the students work to support us. So if we have 10 or 12 students, they're going to be working as assistant directors, stage managers. They might have roles if it's a reading that needs extra actors, they might step in that respect. So we've got the readings, we have our summer residencies. We also have, in the last 3 years, had a project in our 4th Street Theater. It's a 65-seat small house. We have been programming a project called Next Door to NYTW. And that is a way to share space with outside companies, small companies who don't have their own spaces, for instance, because rent is really, or it has been anyway, again, It's a whole new playing field. So who knows what's going to happen in the future? But in the past, small spaces have been very dear and they're expensive. And so we share costs a bit with groups of artists. And we booked 10 or 12 shows in our 4th Street Theater. As I say, more of a hosting than we don't really produce or present them because they're self-produced works by these young companies and producing artists. But it's another way to support, to support people at different levels of their. We also do 2-week workshops, sometimes 29-hour workshops. We have for many, many years supported artistic fellowships for directors and playwrights. So we have a competitive process of proposals, and we usually have anywhere from 4 to 6 artists who are in residence with us for a year. And again, we support their work. So this is all the underlying, kind of the subculture of NYTW. And then, of course, out of all of this developmental work, some of these projects end up on our stage in full production. And that's the beauty of it. But we also try to stress that developmental support is also valuable and that there is a value in it. And being part of our community, there is a value in being part of the community. You never know. We have long-term relationships with some artists over all these many years, and we keep coming back. Somebody like Lisa Peterson, who's working with Dennis O'Hare on the What the Hell is a Republic Anyway series, that one of our first artistic instigator projects under COVID. We've known Lisa, I've known Lisa since the late 80s. She and I kind of came up as directors together. So you have people like Joanne Akalaitis or Tony Kushner, who had my job, right? At one point, he was one of the early associate artistic directors at the workshop. You have this evolution of artists over the whole span of their careers, and always bringing new folks in. It's really important to us.
How does an actor get involved in the workshops? Where do they go?
An actor?
Mm-hmm.
We have a beautiful casting director, Taylor Williams, who loves actors. And we are really working hard to be open and to make, make folks feel welcome. And as I say, Taylor not only does all the casting for our productions, but she also does the casting for each of the readings that we do or the residencies that we do. So she's always receiving headshots and resumes. She has open calls that don't have anything to do with any production sometimes. Again, when we're back in live collaboration again, she looks at a lot of video. So she's really open. Like I said, we're really trying to make the doors wide open and our process as transparent as we can.
That's
Lovely.
fabulous.
I
like it very much.
That's right. And all of that, I think all the artistic staff members, we have Erin Malkin is our literary director. Rachel Silverman is our workshop producer who does all the line producing and counts the pennies for us, really talented woman, Taylor. So, and then Jim Nicole and myself. So we're going to be bringing in a couple new folks to help with that as I step back. So again, we all work, we have our areas of our own sort of either expertise or what we're most interested in and certain areas of responsibility, but it's collaborative. Like if you want to send me pictures and resumes, I'm very happy to pass those on to Taylor.
Oh, that would be great. I should send a picture and a resume. Of course, my resume will say a blank sheet of paper because I don't act.
But you write, so maybe you need to meet Erin, our literary director.
I wouldn't.
Right? I mean, Well, we make work in a lot of ways. You know, there you can work with ensembles, and we've had companies in residence for years, so that you're really working with a whole ensemble that already has its own aesthetic and its own way of dealing. Or director-driven projects, not just playwright-driven projects, but director-driven. We've done many solo shows over the years. Claudia Shear, Dale Orlander Smith, on and on. I mean, we really appreciate all the different ways that art can be made for the theater, and we try not to privilege one over the other.
Oh, I tell you what, if you ever have an opening for someone just to read poetry,
We have an open mic. I can. We no.
We'll second that.
We'll second. You know what? We'll try to.
Yeah.
Be like,
we'll be their opener.
Yeah.
We'll be their opening. Hey, we'll just hear.
Gavin, who works in the under education and our outreach, has ongoing open mic nights. We've been doing them online. So I'll connect you with Gavin.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you so much. So let's talk about how you said that you're gonna transition out of your 26-year job and you're going to start working on your own project. Would you like to speak on what kind of projects you have in the mix?
Well, I give you a little background. I trained as an actor when I was young, like so many of us do. I have directed. That's how I met Jim Nicola at New York Theater Workshop for his new director's program. So that was my entry. And then I became a usual suspect as we started making this community out of all these artists who had affiliations with the workshop. I've co-written a couple of plays, even with all my other work at NYTW. My longtime partner of 40 years and I wrote and performed a play about Gertrude Alice B. Toklas, for instance. And it was directed by Anne Bogart. We kind of created the piece over time using Stein's writing and some of Toklas's own writing. We played that in New York. The Foundry Theater was our producer for this. They picked us up. But we also played in London. We played in Minneapolis. We played in Manchester, England. So that had a whole life from about 99 into the early 2000s. Then another play that I co-wrote with a dear friend, Kate Moira Ryan, we adapted some lesbian pulp novel in the late 50s, early 60s, called the Bebo Brinker Chronicles. And we started that project with Lee Silverman was our director, who again was one of my interns. Lee was one of my interns early on. But Lee's turned into a marvelous director, works on Broadway, she's incredible. But Lee directed the Bebo Brinker Chronicles for us, and we started that out in the 4th Street Theater, where we now do the Next Door series. And that moved to a off-Broadway production also. So those are a couple of projects that already I have been part of. Kate and I have been working on material around Radcliffe Hall's trial. Radcliffe wrote The Well of Loneliness, but her book was actually banned in England until the 60s. She wrote it in 1928. And so Kate and I have been working on this for a time, and we still haven't quite found the shape of the piece yet. So that's something to finish going forward. I work with another group that I helped found called Youth Arts New York, which I helped create with a former high school teacher friend of mine. And the idea is sustainability, creating sustainability projects for young people. And over the last 12, 15 years, we've been particularly focused on working with Hibakusha, who are the survivors of the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And we've brought these survivors, there are a group of them who are very generous of spirit, and they talk about their experiences of living through the atomic disasters that they witnessed as young people. And we don't teach about nuclear armament in the schools much anymore. They really don't kids don't know the nature of nuclear bombs and nuclear energy, and what kind of stockpiles we have, which is so outrageous. So anyway, we've brought Hibakusha into classrooms. We've probably touched over 40,000 students in these last years with the teaching, literally teaching the science, but then having these wonderful, generous people tell about their experience. And then there's always an artistic exchange. So the idea is that the younger generation hears these stories and they become theirs. So we do sometimes we have had theater workshops where the students respond with their own, their own ideas and show us what they've gotten from these works. Sometimes it's more visual art oriented. There's always a way for the students to respond and to give something back. So Youth Arts also has done some women in prison work. We've done wonderful things over the years. And that's a venue for me to get more involved. I have to say, I've been out in the streets a little bit with Black Lives Matter and recently with Count Every Vote. So there's an ongoing, I have that in me as well. So I think that when I have a little more time, if we need to be in the streets, I will probably be out there in the streets. That's sort of in my DNA as well. So I'm not worried. And then there's the archives. My partner was one of the founding members of Charles Ludlam's Ridiculous Theatrical Company back in the 60s. So we both have, I'm a real archivist. So I have been collecting all of our programs and scripts, photos and all. So there's major archival sorting and trying to figure out where to put all that paper. There's a lot. I'm not going to be.
We all have done that now. I mean, we've been in our houses like almost 8 months. I think we've all been like, I need to organize that. Like, how did I let this be for so long? I mean, it's just because we were all super busy and doing and getting on with the business of life. And now with a pause, right. We're like, hey, we have time to organize a lot of stuff. Actually, I have to say that our website got better and my office got better. Things got filed, y'all. Filed.
Yeah. Also, as soon as we get off this call, well, that's exactly what we have planned to do. This interview, we're gonna go organize something. So we can keep talking for a while. Also, no desire to do
anything.
Also,
I wanted to say that it was very interesting that you pointed out that Lee started out as your intern and now she's doing wonderful things. So y'all, for everyone out there that says that the process doesn't work,
it does.
It does. Well, we really like I say, we always have started with the artist. Our founder, Stephen Graham, created a foundation that was just about supporting artists who weren't necessarily commercially viable, so directors and playwrights. The idea was, got some of his commercial producing friends together to make a board, and the idea was to support artists who needed something. Do you need a desk in a room so that you can write? Do you need your rent paid this month? Do you need, you need to go to the doctor and you can't afford it? So that is the origin story of NYTW. After a few years of supporting artists in this manner, they decided they wanted to create a theater. But so that's what I'm saying. We're more about the artist than about that final product. I think that's always
I feel like that's a great place to end on that, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I needed to ask one more question, but we're good.
Because she had archiving to do.
Oh, no,
I got an archive. Well, I'm still working, so I got meetings. I got more Zoom
meetings to do, which is more important than archiving right now. Come January 1st, 2021, she's gonna be like, well, archiving. That's what
then we start opening the drawers and the closet, and yes, exactly.
Oh, I hope we're done by now. By then, my goodness, I have to do one more bit of archiving. I always love that. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, so where can people find out more about your wonderful
workshop? New York Theater Workshop.
Yep, New York Theater Workshop, www.nytw.org. And you'll find that during this pandemic, we have invited 27 artists to make work. We gave small grants of $2,500 to each of them. And then as we've got about 22 projects coming, and we've done a number of them already. Some of them are still online. So they're either on our YouTube or Facebook pages. But if you go to our website, you'll see the whole array of fantastic artists. Again, a whole range of people making work in different ways, but trying to deal with the moment we're in. How do you make work? How do you make theater when you can't be in your theater? And again, please join us for any upcoming events. You'll find all kinds of things. There are master classes, there are fireside chats, and everything we've been doing since April in those areas is also posted online. There's some little mini concerts, lots of things coming up. So we welcome you all to join the community of New York Theater Workshop.
So where can people find information specifically about you and your work?
I have my own website right now, so I guess you could write to me at the workshop if you want to know more about me. Linda C. at nytw.org.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I can't believe she took time out, and we really appreciate it.
Oh,
so I wanted to say that we look forward to all your work coming up in the future. We know it's going to be fabulous, even if it's just pictures of the archiving, because that's an accomplishment all in itself. Let me just say it, because we have been working for like months and still not done. Anyway.
Jade, would you like to wrap us up, or do you need me to?
No,
first?
Here we go.
No,
you can find. No, I got it. I
got this.
Well, why did you even invite me then? Why did you invite me to talk? Well, no, just
because
go
you
ahead.
were supposed to pass it back to the narcissist. Anyway,
well, no, go ahead.
I just really quickly would like to say that you can, at www.andwethought.com, on the homepage, you can listen to professional actors read my TV script. And that's called The Ladies' Tale Podcast. Okay, now, Jade, you can wrap it up.
Also, on The Ladies' Tale Podcast, we have other artists and guests that come on.
No one cares. Moving on.
Well, no,
other artists and guests.
We have people that actually listen to the show because they were guests on the show.
Oh, that's true.
We do care about
you.
There are days when you don't have coffee, you can't get it together. Well, no, I can't get it together. Why would you throw monkey wrench my thing? Anyway. You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andwethought.com. And while you're there, you can go to the homepage to see all the wonderful things that we're doing, including the Ladies' Tale podcast with our wonderful guests that we care about deeply.
Yes.
Well, Nona.
Yes, we do.
Also, more importantly than all of that I just said, please go to the ladies tab, go down to the middle and see the charities that we proudly support. Maybe you can support them too. It does not have to be monetary. It can be a volunteer thing. Even in this time of pandemic, we can absolutely volunteer some of our time, even if it is over Zoom. And if you can't do that, that's okay, because, life is busy and we're in a pandemic, y'all, so we get it. And so maybe you could just at them on social media or send them a nice email that says, thank you for doing this wonderful work in the world, because we all need a little encouragement to continue on doing what we're doing.
I'm a narcissist and I still need encouragement. Keep those emails to me.
She really doesn't. Just send them to Jade, but it's okay. She can, I can share it. Just remember, y'all, that wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona
and Jade. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah. Thanks for listening.